Gentry, pictures.
Pictures.
Nobody took selfies up there. We should have took a selfie.
Only Gentry. Oh,
Photos.
pictures. Oh. Oh.
Oh gosh, I need to get down. My legs are shaking.
Are you nervous?
Yeah.
Hands up.
Hands up.
Woo!
Do a heart.
Heart.
Oh, that's a good heart. Okay.
That is a good heart.
Oh gosh, please don't. No. Oh.
Yes.
Woo! Oh no. Oh, there we go.
Oh, yay!
Yay!
Oh.
It's time to put our phones down so we can clap.
Yeah, we can clap now. Yay!
That was amazing! That was the
gosh.
best proposal spot ever.
Yes.
Ever.
I'm shaking. Holy crap.
She was already scared, and now she's even more
Gentry
scared.
is
I'm
I don't know
glad
if
she
that
didn't
was
like
ever
freak
been my
out.
whole life.
Hey, now you know why Gentry was nervous this morning.
That's why Gentry's stomach has hurt.
Yeah, that's why his stomach. Like,
Bubble guts.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, now we want to see. Now we want to see.
Oh,
Show Brian. Show Brian. Video.
Let's see. Let's see.
Oh my gosh, Gentry.
Oh, wow.
Did you pick that out by
Oh
yourself?
my. She's shaking.
Good.
Oh,
it's
gorgeous. Holy crap.
That is so pretty.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Abigail May, and I am engaged. I am super excited. Gentry and I were going to film a video together, but then we kind of forgot, so then I was like, you know what, I'll just film it, it's whatever. Okay, so I'm gonna fill you guys in with my side of the story because I want Gentry to tell his side of the story on his own. But so basically I went on a week-long missions trip to Guatemala, and that was a lot of fun. I think the main question that I get asked all the time is like, did I know? So I want to preface this and say that Gentry and I had been talking about getting married for a really long time. And I told him I kind of wanted somewhere around like a year engagement, just because I'm a full-time student, part-time in a job, and I really wanted the time to plan and not feel overwhelmed and stressed. Because with a shorter engagement, you really have to be on the ball, and, you know, I mean, you have to do that anyways when you're planning a wedding, but you really, like, if it was like a 3-month engagement or a 4-month engagement, like, you have to plan really quickly and really fast, and I just knew that I didn't have the time for that, so I wanted that time by having a year-long engagement, if that makes any sense. So I went on this trip thinking maybe it'll happen, I don't know, like, all of my friends were like, okay, I bet you $10 it's gonna happen on this trip, it's gonna happen. And I didn't want to, like, go into the trip thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to get engaged, and then, like, it not happen, and then be upset, which sounds so stupid, but I'm not in Guatemala to get engaged. I'm in Guatemala to serve on a missions trip and to love on some girls. That is pretty much why I am in Guatemala. And so it actually was the day of that he proposed that in my mind, I was like, there's no way that I'm going to get engaged. Like, if I'm going to get engaged, it would have happened by now, I feel like, and it didn't. And so I was like, yeah, I'm not getting engaged. So we are on this trip. It was like kind of like our day of sightseeing, if that made sense. Like, we had like a day where we went out and like visited Antigua and stuff like that. And we did some hiking and whatnot. And Gentry, while in the van, Gentry was like, my stomach hurts so bad. Like, oh my gosh, like, oh, it hurts so bad or whatever. And like, I don't take him as the nervous type. He has never been super nervous. He's always been pretty confident and like happy and whatnot. And so like I didn't think anything of it. I was just thinking like probably ate some fruit he shouldn't have, or probably had the drinking water or whatever it is when he shouldn't have. And so that's like what I was thinking. So we're hiking to these spots and like, oh my gosh, it's so pretty. And then we see this hand and it's really pretty, and I honestly didn't think anything of it because like all of these couples are taking their pictures, and you know, everyone's taking their picture, and like it's a really high up like spot. And so I was like really nervous, and at one point I was like, I'm not taking pictures up there. Like I'm not going up there. Like that's really nice, it's really pretty, but I don't know. But Gentry was like, okay, come on, like, it's our turn, let's go take pictures. And I was, like, really anxious getting up there. My legs were shaking. Like, I was nervous just because of how high up it was. Because if you fell, it was, like, it was a drop. It wasn't too big of a drop, but it was a drop. And so I was pretty high up there, and like, we're taking cutesy pictures and whatever, and he grabs both my hands, and for a second I thought, like, I don't know, this sounds terrible, but I thought he was gonna, like, jokingly, like, you know, like, push me, because we do that to each other sometimes, like, especially at high distances, we'll jokingly, like, make each other scared, tease each other, whatever it is, I don't know. So that's what I thought he was doing. So he grabs my hands, and he goes, and I say, what are you doing? And then he looks at me and says, don't cry. And he fumbles in his pocket. He pulls out a ring. And in the video, you see me swish my hair and put my hand down because I knew exactly what was happening. And I was like, put that ring on there. So I knew exactly what was happening. And he got down on one knee and he said, will you marry me? And I said, yes. And then I said, yeah. And I shook my head. And I honestly thought that I would bawl my eyes out, like crying like a baby. But I did not cry. Like, I teared up a little bit, but I didn't cry. And it was just like, oh my gosh. Like, I was in shock. You can hear me at the end of the video saying, holy crap. Because I was like, I was in shock. And I was also super nervous because two things were happening. I was really high up in the air, and I was getting engaged. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I'm just so grateful for everyone on the trip. I'm grateful for Brian, who actually filmed the video for us, and like everyone was taking pictures, and it was just such a beautiful, like, God-centered moment, because afterwards everyone was gathered around us, and they all prayed over us, and it was just amazing. And I honestly, it was the perfect day. It was the perfect day to get engaged. Everything was beautiful. Nothing went wrong that day. Like, it was such an amazing day, and it's such an amazing trip too. And so, yeah, that is my side of the story of the day or the hours leading up to the engagement, to, you know, that video that you guys saw. And now I want to share Gentry's video. All right, so here is Gentry's side of the story of how the proposal happened and how long it was in the works for.
How long was it in the works for?
Well, first let's start off with, okay, when did you get the ring?
When did I get the ring? I got the ring probably early November.
Okay, yeah. And then how, like, did you like decide in November that you were gonna like do it in Guatemala, or was it like?
So I decided to do it in Guatemala, probably like January.
In like the beginning of January?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. And then like what leading up to that day, and like how are you feeling and what were you thinking? And
I mean, I felt
what
fine.
was the orchestration?
Leading up to the trip, I felt fine. So, you know, I was just like, I always say like nervousness and excitement is the same thing. But I will say the day of, I thought I had gotten sick because you're not supposed to drink the water down there. And I thought I did. Don't mind the little stain on my shirt, but I thought I did because my stomach was really like hurting me. But after I proposed to Abigail, like I felt completely fine. I felt perfect. And I realized that I wasn't sick. I was just nervous, which was the first time in my whole life that has ever happened to me. So I guess I was like super nervous.
Yeah, I remember that day he was like, oh, my stomach hurts. And I was like, you shouldn't have brushed your teeth with the tap water. But yeah. So what else happened? How did you pick the spot that you picked?
Well, one of our friends at church, Brandon, I picked a spot in Guatemala that I was going to propose at. It's this beautiful spot in Antigua, like historic landmark, beautiful spot. But Brandon had told the director of the mission trip that we're going on. He told the director of my plans of what I was going to do. And the director, she decided that she was going to take us to a different spot that was better, that she knew of. And so that's why I decided to do it there. Because I trusted her, and she said that it was a much better spot than the spot that I picked. Which I'm glad, because it was an amazing shot.
But yeah. So now we're engaged, and right now our plans are to get married next December. So yeah. And he was really nervous. I had never seen him so nervous in my life.
You didn't even know I was nervous.
Well, I thought you were sick.
Exactly. I
But
didn't know I was nervous.
But when you got down on one knee and you started proposing, I was like, I could tell you were really nervous. Because he hardly got out a word. All he could say was, don't cry, and will you marry me? And everything else was, and I thought you had like more planned. I think you did say you had more planned to say.
I did have more planned.
But because he was so nervous, he couldn't get any of it out. And that was the first time I'd ever seen him, like, so nervous that he couldn't speak. But, yeah, he knew that I would say yes. But, yeah.
This is so weird, like, talking to, like, somebody who's not there.
Yeah. Well, pretend you're talking to me.